Hi children, are you ready for the fifth episode? Today's story is The Cat's Judgment. The three characters in this story are a rabbit, a partridge and a cat. I will be using this for a partridge, but this is not what a partridge looks like. A partridge looks like this. And now I'll begin the story. There once lived a partridge in her nest beneath a large peepal tree. She had been living there for many years. She was kind and friendly to all the little animals and birds. One day the partridge left her cozy home to look for food. She travelled far and wide until she came across a cornfield. It was time for the harvest. Children, harvest is the time or process of collecting crops. It was time for the harvest and the corn was fully ripe. This partridge was fond of ripe corn, so she remained in the cornfield eating as much corn as she possibly could. She made friends with the other birds there. She did not return home that day or the next day or the next. She stayed in the cornfield for many days. While the partridge was away, a rabbit found her empty nest. This rabbit did not have a home of his own, so he decided to live in the partridge's nest and make it his home. He lived there happily. When the partridge returned and saw the rabbit in her nest, she was angry. What are you doing here? This is my house.
Huh? Your house? I have been living in this house. It is mine now.
The partridge said, "You cannot stay here. I have built this house and I have always lived here. You can ask the neighbors." The rabbit said,
Why should I ask anybody? Nobody was living here when I moved in, and everybody knows that a house belongs to the one who lives in it. So it is my house now. You can ask the neighbors if that is true or not.
The partridge said, for a few days to look for food, and now that I am back, can you please get out of my house?
No, I won't.
The rabbit was firm. Firm means determined. The rabbit was determined and he said, "Here I am and here I'll stay." The quarrel between the rabbit and the partridge went on for a long time. Children, the word quarrel means to fight or to have a disagreement. The rabbit and the partridge quarreled for a long time and all the animals and birds had gathered around. They heard what the rabbit had to say and then they heard what the partridge had to say, but they couldn't decide to whom the house belonged. They thought that the rabbit and the partridge should find out what the law said. They decided to take the dispute to a judge. Children, the word dispute also means a quarrel or a disagreement. So the rabbit and the partridge decided to take the dispute to a judge. But it was very difficult to find a good judge. The rabbit and the partridge walked miles and miles looking for a judge. At last, they reached the banks of the river Ganga. Out there at a distance, they saw a tomcat. The rabbit and the partridge stood still. They were afraid to go near because they knew how dangerous a tomcat could be. And this one was a wicked cat. He saw the rabbit and the partridge and quickly closed his eyes and stood on his hind legs. He picked up a string of prayer beads and began to pray at the top of his voice. Glum, glum, glim, glum, glim, glum. The rabbit and the partridge were puzzled. This was the first time that they were seeing a holy cat. And how well he said his prayers. The rabbit said, I think we can ask this cat to judge our dispute. The partridge said, I think so too, but still we must be careful, for the cat is our natural enemy. The rabbit and the partridge stood in silence, waiting for the cat to finish his prayers. Once the cat was done, he opened his eyes and looked at them. The partridge said, Oh, holy sir, the rabbit and I have had a little disagreement. It is about an important matter of law. We need your help. Could you please be our judge? You may then punish whoever you think is in the wrong. The cat said, My dear friends, I will be your judge. Please tell me what your quarrel is about, and then I will decide who is right and who is wrong. So the partridge began to tell her version of the story. I went away for a few days to look for food, and when I returned home, I saw this rabbit living in my house, said the rabbit. The cat said, Please remain calm. Let me listen to the whole story. Please do not interrupt. So the partridge began to tell her story again, and once she was done, the rabbit said what he had to say. The cat remained silent for some time, and then he spoke. I have become old now. I cannot see or hear well. I didn't fully understand what your quarrel was about. Could you both please come closer and explain your versions of the story again? The rabbit and the partridge were no longer afraid of the cat. They felt that they could trust him, so they moved closer. And before they knew what was happening, the cat hit them hard with his paws. The rabbit and the partridge were killed, and the cat ate them up. The partridge had earlier said that the cat was their enemy, and yet the rabbit and the partridge fell for the cat's act and trusted him. Pranavi, what do you think is the moral of the story?
Hello Bob and Lulu, it was an interesting story. So today I am going to tell the moral of the story. When two people fight, the third person takes benefit of them. So nobody should fight from now onwards.
Thank you, Pranavi. And what do you all think is the moral of the story? Please leave it in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the story, please do not forget to hit the like button and share the video. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bob and Lulu. See you all soon. Bye.
Happy birthday, my sweet little heart. Here's Mama wishing you The sun, moon, stars, and everything your heart desires. Well, at least whatever your mama thinks which is good for you. Love you, my baby boy.
Happy birthday, my dear Angel Advika. Happy birthday to you. You are 4 now. You're such a positive, charming, and absolutely adorable daughter. Love you, Chinny. Bangari from Amma Appa.